At this point, everything that you say is on record. Oh, and I'm gonna be in charge of the 1 o'clock.
No.
You did such a good job.
And the budget's really quiet, but you can hear it, but it's not disturbing like it did in the one place commission.
You did.
Oh, now you come. Okay. Thank you.
We're trying new things, people.
It's a lot. They couldn't get in.
Guess you'll find out one way or the other.
I saw Ken.
Yeah.
Did I tell you that, Patty?
What?
Saw Kenneth 2 weeks ago.
Where?
Here. Lost like 60 pounds.
Doing what?
He's just working and.
He works the espresso shop.
She just came to visit.
Yeah, he's in the area. He's got family.
Wow.
It was nice to see him.
60 pounds. That's
He
good.
looks really good. Loves his job. Travels a lot.
Good for him.
You guys can really fun. Down the last two.
Teresa.
Okay.
Just make sure you're not.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. Good evening and welcome to the September 4th, 2024 Noble County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting. Can we get a member roll call, please?
Sam Buckles.
Here.
Patty Gatman.
Here.
Chelsea Carmine.
Here.
Tom Griffiths.
Here.
Mike Klopfenstein.
So we do have a quorum present. With 4 members present. That means that you'll still need to get 3 members to vote in your favor to get your motion passed. We're gonna go ahead and go on down the agenda for tonight. We are gonna go ahead and, bump the, consideration of the August 7th meeting minutes as well as the unfinished business, the memorandum of finding of fact, the variance 2339 to the end of the meeting. So we'll jump down to new business and we're gonna start with variance number 2341. I'll go ahead and kind of read the rules just so everybody knows how it's gonna go. The petitioner will be called to the table and should state their name and address. One person will speak to the board at a time. All conversations shall be directed to the board. The petitioner will have 20 minutes to petition their case. The petitioner is to refer to the findings of fact during their petition. Any audience member wishing to speak against or for will have up to 20 minutes in total. Opposition should also speak in reference to the findings of fact. All speakers should come to the table and state their name and address for the record. The petition will then be allowed a 5-minute rebuttal. Questions by the board will not go against the time allotted. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the variance and then consent board. Variance number 2341, Donald G. and Sylvia K. Brown requests a development standards variance to allow for less than UDO required waterside setback of 75 foot to be at 58 foot from the water's edge for the construction of a 14 foot by 12 foot gazebo. Real estate is located in section 18 of Orange Township, quadrant 400, parcel 036, common location known as 0236 East Lakeview Drive, Walker, Indiana.
I'm Sylvia Brown, and I live at 20236 East Lakeview Drive in Milwaukee. This is,
Yeah, I'm down in Brown. Oh, 236. It's like you drive and walk. Do we just tell you why we want this? Is what we're doing?
Yep. Our neighbors have built a house beside us that is precisely 10 feet from the corner of their deck to the corner of our deck. And they have like an outside television and stereo unit. So when we're on our deck, plus we can hear all the conversations, we have a double lot. They only have a single lot. So for privacy, we thought we could put the gazebo in front of the shed. So like when the kids come up, I'd like to put them so that they're not getting carried away by the mosquitoes, and I thought that would be ideal. It just would enhance our enjoyment of the lake.
And it sits right in front of the,
Shed.
it'll be right in front of the shed about 2 foot this way. And even at the 58-foot mark, we're not even close to that mark. I mean, we just went with 58 to make sure we had enough in case we wanted to turn it. Then we get we still get a nice view from there of Steingarten.
There's nothing to stop here.
And
Check if the device is on your
we
own
have checked
Wi-Fi
with
network.
McDonald's, who are right next door to us,
Yeah.
which would be to our, still ain't got all my directions, north. And we have spoke to them, we walked them over, showed them what was gonna set, and they have no issues with it whatsoever. And so that's where it would set, and it doesn't bother anybody that we know of.
Yeah, they're the only ones that would actually have a view of the gazebo. The neighbors on the other side that are 10 feet from our property line would have no way to see it because it's behind the house. So the only ones that would be affected would be the McDonald's. And we've checked with them, it doesn't block their lake view and it's not anywhere, so it obstructs any of their view.
And the 12 by 14 was a straight, I'm going to put it on a structure about a foot high, so that way it's not just sitting directly on the ground. Because if water comes up or if there's any flooding, that way you don't have to worry about the gazebo actually being in the water. I'm going to raise it up about a foot, and then it gets attached down to that deck, and then that deck is also attached with the screw-in camper type screws, like I did the shed. I'm also gonna do that with that and screw it clear down tight so there's no movement when you're, you know, no danger to anybody or anything like that.
So can you put the satellite one up there?
Sure.
And I have a photo of the gazebo if you want to see it.
Would one of you go up and show us where the gazebo's gonna go on that one?
On this one?
Yeah.
Okay, this is an old picture. This is all gone.
Oh,
Yeah, none
All
of those
this is
sheds are
gone.
there. And
There's a new shed that got, this now sets up here with regulations away from the house.
Okay.
This and this are gone. There's our new shed we got permit for and it got cleared. It
Okay.
sets here.
it sets between
And if
them.
you go back, I can, okay, right here. This is the new shed. And you can see the pink flags right here. Yeah, and it's in this northern lot right here. If I was to roughly right there, I mean, that little area right there. And you can see this no view here, and then their view up here went on the, is that their house? Yeah. From their deck, and then Steinberger is over here. So their shot, this setting here comes right straight out, doesn't block them at all.
Farther up, and this is the adjacent neighbor. You can see the screen.
Yeah, so either view there or not anywhere near. And if I may, I'll show you the two neighbors. Their deck here, our deck's here, and that's only roughly 10 feet.
Can I show something?
You absolutely can.
There you go.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, here, and I mean, nothing against them or anything. They like the night, which is right here. They enjoy their TV, they enjoy their conversations, they have, and if we are, I mean, we might as well just connect the two and have a big party. So to have privacy to talk or visit, her mom comes up a lot and we get a lot of people come up. The gazebo would allow to move away from them, let them have their TV, their music, whatever they want. We get the gazebo and we get our quiet time, you know, out in front of the fire pit. Without mosquitoes. So, I mean, that's pretty much why we want it. And like I say, it's a nice looking gazebo, so it will enhance the value of the property actually. By
I
putting
can
that
show
in.
you a picture and if you
No, you
want.
can't do that.
If you give us the info, then we have to come.
Oh,
You need to submit it to the record.
oh God, I couldn't get it to print out. I had to take a photo of it on the screen. Dang
Yeah.
Any questions on?
I did a site visit and what I seen was basically what you've shown, what we've seen on the
Okay,
photos. Did have a question though, that
absolutely.
12 by 14 was staked out. And then 2 foot out, there were two more.
Yeah, that is that is the 58-foot mark. So our gazebo is inside that 58-foot. We asked for the,
We have the 58 feet after the other markers that we marked.
yeah, so that's the 58 feet. So we're inside, you know, we're still not even close to the 58 feet that we're asking.
Oh, you're saying that farthest flag out shows where 58 is, but you're
Yes.
2 feet inside of that.
Okay.
Inside.
Yeah, we're way inside of that because we went, asked for the 58 to kick. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so that way, if we want to turn it just a little bit, you know, move it a little, because I talked to you about it, move it a little bit or adjust it, I still have that footage that I, you know, I'm not doing something.
We
wrong.
weren't sure if you're gonna post there and have a longer
No,
roof.
that's
That's
just
what we
mark,
were.
that's
Yeah.
just to mark the 58-foot mark is what that was.
I got lucky and Sam's at my side. You did it.
So, yeah. So that's what those two flags are.
So we have to answer a practical difficulty question, which you saw in there. And would you say it has to do with how close the neighboring home is there?
With Jay and Christine, it has a lot to do with that because it's so close that everybody hears everybody's conversations. I mean, like I say, they like the TV on at night. I mean, they're 10, 11 o'clock at night at times. And when we sit on our deck, like it is now, I mean, the last thing I want to hear is somebody's TV. I mean, I don't want to hear it. I want the lake, I want the night, and that's what we want.
And we got a new little one now and he's 13 months old and when he comes up, I kind of where he's not gonna get up on his feet.
It ain't.
So it'll be a closed screen.
Yeah.
Well, it's drop down screens, you know, just a normal.
Curtains and
Curtain.
screens.
Are there any comment comments?
I will point out that part of the development was approval of the property that is so close to them, was EDA approved variance for, those development setbacks. We do have some postcards here. Steve Hayward, Kathleen Hayward, gazebo is fine. Kenneth Wiley and Nancy Wiley, none. I'm assuming that means no comment. And Kenneth Wiley and Nancy Wiley also.
All of our neighbors drove by in pontoons going, where are you putting the gazebo? We showed them, they go, oh, invite us over. Okay.
I will point out that the neighbors did receive a variance for 30.24 off of the water side.
The ones that are in front of the camera.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picking on them or nothing to do with them. The way that, if I may. Setting, but we set here on our deck. And they're legal, they're within variance and all that. They brought their deck, their new deck, this way. And it cut at least a third, if not half, of the lake view away from us. Because he's got the poles and all that. So when he brought that this way, from this section of our deck, that's in front of us, comes right out across in front of the lake. So that's a little bit of the reason also. If we get to the other side, then we have that straight shot that we're looking at Steinbarger.
So you can offer info because that was. That's correct.
And they're all legal stuff, that's fine. We're over
I
that.
guess I was just pointing out that they're asking for less than one. There's only one lot where they have two.
Yes. And that's there for it.
You're to speak out either for or against this variance.
So,
I have a motion. I have a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed?
And development standards findings of fact for Donald A. Brown, variance number 2341. The physical location is 0236 East Lakeview Drive in Milwaukee, also known as Lot 2 of Channel Haven. Miller County Board of Zoning Appeals, having heard the application for variance described and all of the testimonies of parties claiming to be adversely affected, is now in the following findings as required. A unified development code ordinance in Indiana code. Response will be agree or disagree with the motion. Number one, the approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, moral, and general welfare of the community. Sam Buckles,
agree.
Tom Griffiths,
Agree.
Patty Gatman, and Chelsea Kearney. I also agree. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Tom Griffiths,
Agree.
Sam Buckles,
Agree.
Patty Gatman, Chelsea Kearney. I also agree. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Patty Gatman, agree. Tom Griffiths,
I agree.
Sam Buckles,
Agree.
and Chelsea Kearney. I agree. Based on the findings the board does approve this variance. We'll send you a copy of these.
And then, once we,
You need to come and get a building permit and an improvement location permit, and we'll go through all of those other steps with you.
I knew there was another.
Yeah, you're just starting.
I'll tell you what, since we bought the places. We went through a lot of steps, that's fine, just so we do it the right way.
Thank you. I'm putting this
All right,
on
well, thank
file.
you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to variance number 2342, Tri-County Land Trustee Corporation, care of Noah and Marietta Fry, requests a use variance to allow the use of a retail grocery store, Article 11, Type 3 and Type 4 retail, in an A1 zoning district with hours of operation to be 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m., parking to meet the UDO standards for Type 4 retail. Also requests for substantial completion in 2 years due to state requirements. Real estate is located in Section 1 of Elkhart Township, Quadrant 100, Parcel 004, common location known as 0277 West, 1200 North, -57, Worketville, Indiana.
Go ahead and state your name and address for the record, and then you have 20 minutes to talk through.
Noah Fry, 0277 West, $1,200 worth of road. Okay, so now I'm supposed to tell you what I think I know.
Yep.
So. Here, I wrote down the kind of the main facts.
Thank you.
I thought maybe the one that decided the building and some of that stuff. And here I'll give a copy. Then I wrote down that.
Go ahead, Noah. You could read or let them know what you're talking about and what you're planning on doing, and if you can focus on the findings of fact while you do that.
Okay. What we want to do is build have a grocery store. And, okay, a 40 by 70, 2,800 square foot building. And this would require 10 parking spaces, and I think we have plenty parking for that, and we'd have more available if we need. We'd have up to 4 employees. Hours of operation, 8 o'clock a.m. Okay, I wrote down 4:30 or 5 o'clock. I was not sure. I put down 4:30 on the petition, but when store products would be all the basics, such as dairy products, bread, cereal, deli products, frozen meat, snacks, and of course, much more. Also, we want to stock a full line of baking supplies. I've been in contact with the Range Highway Department about the driveway, and I do have some information here. That we need to go through, and
You have requirements you have.
yeah, we have
That
requirements
he's willing to work with.
that we have to work with, and we want to, whatever it takes, we want to go through. We want to do whatever it takes the whole way through the building and parking and whatever. And then I talked with the health department. They sent me a bunch of literature that would be for food safety and food handling stuff. And there again, we'd have to go through a lot of stuff, and we want to do whatever it takes to come up to standard. And Teresa and I talked about the manure cleanup with horse and buggy being a lot of our customers. Maybe not, but that's what we kind of planned. Right now we have a buggy manufacturing business. We actually sold it, so that is actually out of the shop. And we had a lawn cart that we used regularly to go around and pick up the manure and get it out of the way. And the car parking will actually be separate from the buggy parking. It'll be right outside of the store. The buggy parking, that will have to be turned, that hitching rail, that is too close to the road. And then the building that you see is the old one, that will be torn off, and a new one to replace that one. And the car parking will, by that great arbor, right in the end, there will be where the car parking will be, right outside the store. So it will be separate. Yeah, there you can see it. Right up the picture. Okay. And yeah, we like to keep everything orderly with that. Next, the findings of fact. First, number one, the approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and morals and general welfare of the community. First of all, I'd like to repeat our wish is to take appropriate steps to be the wishes of the state and the local county standards, whatever it takes. We should have ample driveway and all parking spaces should be easily accessible so no back traffic on the road should accumulate. And then I went over that driveway parking still. So in number 2, the use and value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. With the store and the driveway not being against any of the adjacent property lines, with hopefully having ample driveway parking spaces so the semis can get off the road, where there shouldn't be no fumes or loud noise levels. We hope and think nobody on adjacent property should be offended. With horse traffic also involved, I just want to repeat, we want to keep that cleaned up as much as possible. Hours of operation from 8 to 4:30 or 5, but it shouldn't be early or late. So hopefully that will not be an issue. And then, number 3, that the need for the use variance arises from some conditions peculiar to the property involved. Yeah, I wrote down some notes. With the horse and buggy being our main transportation, the closest grocery store with all the essential baking supplies is around 7 miles. So that is a considerable distance for a horse and buggy to go and get groceries. And Raver's Discount is a little bit closer, but they don't have all the essential baking supplies, and I hesitate to do too much traveling on the state road. I don't really like that. And usually when we do go there, there's motor traffic lined up behind me, and I do not like to do that. So for those reasons, we do not use them much. And so I think it would be convenient for the neighbors for a closer store. And Teresa told me she thinks we'd have more people in the lake area that would also patronize us. And I really think,
I think my comment was more geared on the fact that I think it won't just be on the street.
yeah, it's a, there's, yeah. And the more I thought about it, I think it could probably benefit more people than I actually thought. And then, as far as expanding, we could not expand unless we get a permit. Is that correct? So we could not go beyond the approved project without getting a permit to expand, but I don't think we could expand beyond that. Number 4, strict application of the terms of the ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is sought. A1, I believe A1 is agriculture farming, so it is not approved for a business. We actually do not do any farming. Right now we are feeding some cows, which we will not do if this variance does go through. We were actually thinking of quitting that anyway. So, being it is zone A1, we need to do rezoning or a variance. And we hope a type 3 or 4 retail would work for this. And I just made a note, Noble Tomorrow Comprehensive Plan Book on page 56, number 2 describes what we are thinking, a quick stop for neighbors. I wish it to be a benefit or a service to the community. And then number 5, approval does not interfere substantially with the Noble County Comprehensive Plan. Page 33 encourages community-based economic development and revitalization and to focus economic development efforts on incremental improvement of the current landscape. And on page 56, it states that a corner store can be of tremendous value, and we hope we'd be a convenience to the neighborhood. Also on page 57, it says development should be flexible and designed to accommodate more than one tenant in the life cycle of the structure. This, I believe, would mean not to put it up just strictly for one purpose, is what I gathered from it, and we'd like to put it up to be user-friendly, I guess. With, of course, doing the requirements, whatever it takes.
Can I address one of my comments?
Yeah.
My only comment on number 3, that he is geared towards the fact that a lot of times we have these smaller businesses that come in and they're meant to be a certain size and then out of nowhere they just explode. We did advertise until 4:30, so floating at 4:30 to 5, we did advertise till 4:30, so
That is
I
fine.
would say at this point you're
Just
kind of
Just keep
stuck
it
with
further,
that.
yep, that is fine.
So that conversation was more geared along the lines of making him aware that that fluctuation of all of a sudden being too big for what we've asked.
Mhm.
We want to make sure we try to keep that in that pocket, that if it gets approved.
The 4:30 is what we'd want, but I was thinking of the customer, so that's why I put that in, but yeah, we'll go with the 4:30. Okay. I do believe that is pretty well all the facts. Did I cover everything? So I think that is all I have.
Teresa, this is a use variance. Patty, you missed the planning commission meeting, so this is gonna fall under the same rules that we were talking about adjusting for a home-based business.
Correct, this is not.
Okay.
But currently, the home-based business allows for up to 5 employees.
Currently, yes, I know, but this is all going to be,
This is
this
completely
is what's happening today.
different. Yes,
And we might want to, we can do that later. Might share with the board members here on what home-based businesses will be discussed will be afterward.
Do you, or would like to do the site visit for this one?
Yes, I did.
To share?
Teresa, pull up. You pull up this map, perfect. There. Okay. So I wish I didn't remember everything. Wish I could forget about half this stuff. If you go up there to where, clear over to the crossroad, in the southwest corner, there used to be a building there. County Line Engine had a business there. It was a very good business. They went out of business for some reason and moved. Then it turned into a freezer storage, primarily for the Amish, I think. And then for a couple of years, there was a fruit stand there. Very nice fruit stand.
at the intersection?
No, it's gone now, and I don't even know what it is for sure. It looks like a glorified firewood business.
I think that he's on furniture. Built on furniture.
Okay, and then if you'll go to the east of that corner where you see the circles and stuff, that all used to, there's 5 parcels there. That all used to be one parcel under the
North property.
north property. She was storing Airstream campers down there where the little blue triangle is. That's where it was originally. Noble County told her that she wasn't allowed to do that. She's since split that property off in 5 different pieces. If you look up to the corner on your map, it says I-2 now.
Correct.
I drive by this all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't really doesn't bother me, I don't care, but since it was my site visit, she is currently living in Campo Red. Has been for quite some time. Across the road to the west, before we even get to the property, that has all been divided up. There's actually a landlocked piece of ground in there. I don't even know how it happened. However, that landlocked piece of ground is owned by somebody in that neighborhood that owns a piece that will go
An
to the road.
adjacent property.
An adjacent property that comes up to the road. Onto the piece that we are referring to, that was all zoned A3 at one time, because it was going to raise calves out there. And then I don't know if it was your brother-in-law, whatever, you guys decided to split that property and then ask for a variance for a lesser distance from the livestock barn. Which reminds me, go back to the A2, I did vote in disfavor of that. But coming back over to our property,
I don't think I have any of those maps. I don't have those maps.
that's fine. It was zoned A3. Because there's already livestock, then they split it. Then they asked for a variance for the lesser distance from a livestock barn. That variance was denied because we didn't feel at that time that you would ask to be rezoned A3, and then it asked for a variance from your zoning. So the split was able to go through because you guys just decided it would be easier to revert back to A1. And that benefited you guys too from a standpoint. Now you can raise up to 299 cattle without IDEM regulations. I wish I could forget, I can't.
You're pretty good.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, I am too. I don't need my files, I'll just call you next time.
Oh, and then they applied for a variance for a buggy
For the
business.
buggy shop.
And now you guys apparently have sold that.
My question to you, if the buggy shop is sold, we'll come in, we need to come in and look through its barn and we'll close that out.
And I might add that Raybers is 3.9 miles from the location. There used to be an IGA in Wilkesville that closed to what this. And I can't verify or deny whether Raybers has the supplies that you're going to need. Personally, the A2 property in question, there's no camper setting there. It's only a matter of time before, in my opinion, what's the next one? The ones that's moving everywhere. Dollar General. It's only a matter of time before there's a Dollar General there. But that's my opinion. Anyway, there you go.
Last time I was up there, I think she had campers on that lot, maybe not a lot. Maybe a handful.
There's one camper there. Just so you know.
So this property, did it appear there was room for trucks to turn and
It's got a great.
This is a property too that it's one of those properties that the road.
It does, yeah.
You got 3 driveways that come onto the road for this, and that was one of the problems I had with it a long time ago. The object is to have one driveway. Now, due to the fact that Noble County has allowed these splits, and there's a school there, nothing against the school, that's probably a good idea. But due to all the splits that we made, which I think was probably a mistake when we talked about farm ground, maybe the mistakes we made in the past makes it a good place for one. The grocery store.
The one driveway we could easily remove, it doesn't even go around. It was there, so we just left it. But we could, furthest east one is actually kind of a nuisance because people drive in there, it doesn't go around. So we could, would
Well, that
actually be
could
a good idea.
potentially be a problem, yeah.
It would actually be a good idea to remove it.
But it's a 3, not to mention the, is it your brother-in-law that owns the?
My brother did, they sold it, but yeah.
So there's, actually, you've got 3 and he's got 1.
Mhm.
So there's my second.
Do you have my card, see if I can- Jason Pippinger did make a comment, tech review for commercial septic. And the parking lot will also go through stormwater erosion and remedial, so we'll have to comply with both of us.
I forgot to tell you, I talked with,
I figured.
yeah,
Heather Shower, Dallas Farms LLC, no comment. Well, she just says none. Marvin Bontrager, Ruby Bontrager doesn't have a comment. Joseph Miller and Susie Miller. We really appreciate goes through as we'd like to have a grocery store close. Michael Miller, Martha Miller, no comment. Nora J. Yoder, no objections, wishing them God's blessings on it. Orva Yoder, no objections, they have our go ahead. Peter Shine, we have nothing against their decision, and Patrick Gosser does not make a comment.
I have to ask if there's anybody here to speak for or against the standards. You'd like to come forward and state your name?
So, name and address.
Orva Yoder, address 0525 West, Abraham South, Quebec. Adjacent landowner on two sides, across the road into the western property. No objections, and it would be a convenience.
And what?
It would be a convenience.
Norman Hostubber, 0110 East, 100 North. Live close by, and it really be great to have a grocery store close by, and just like he said, it's 7 miles to Topeka, or to save lots, and yeah, just like he stated, the 9 is a busy road, and we don't like to keep up the motor vehicles if we don't have to, so I'm all for it.
I do have one question for you. You stated you don't like traveling down state roads with your buggies. Where do you travel down state road
where we do, you said?
to get to Rivers?
If you go down to 1150, it's right on
Rivers is
9.
on state road.
And there's a, if you take out of what road it is,
It's 1150.
1150 north, comes out a block from it.
But with that short distance, there's still traffic behind me. And I wouldn't mind if I knew they wouldn't mind, but there's no place to turn off. I don't think there's any place to turn off between line 50 and Rivers to go in to let people, let traffic run.
There's no berm or anything.
I
on the
don't
side.
think there's no A lane,
Okay.
and the berm is not wide enough unless we go into the ditch. Well, yeah, I'd rather not.
Are there any other questions?
Is the board considering moving in any direction? If so, are you wanting any conditions for transferability or anything like that you can think about?
I was not the current person.
You have any advice you want to share?
Well, you sort of define facts, see if the requirements, practical different consideration, just like you do with anything. Another alternative is zoning appropriately. Rather than use variance, but that's not typically how many of these things are done. And of course, zoning has its own policy, and they have to zone, it's still fine, and you need variances for setbacks or something.
Or living. The home is there, so that was part of the conversation, that we weren't sure which direction we're going to go, because he does have a home right there on site. So,
So that's just illegal,
Right.
not reflecting on
right, but those are things to
viability
think
of the
about.
project.
Will there be any outside storage? Deliveries will come, how often? Are
I
you,
talked with a couple other grocery stores, they said typically every 2 weeks.
okay.
This gonna be, what kind of a grocery is it? And I don't know the terminology. It's gonna be like secondhand or,
No, it's still with you.
You're not having like fresh meat is all frozen. There are certain categories that
yeah,
you were
not
saying that you
fresh-
can't
not
do.
fresh
You wanna
meat.
explain what you can and can't do there?
Fresh meat is if it hasn't been frozen, I think, is what they determine if they call it fresh meat. Frozen meat or hams or stuff like that is not considered fresh meat. And if we would do fresh meat, that would be in a whole different boat. And we are not planning to do fresh meat.
You're gonna have produce, like fresh produce, or not necessarily, or having.
We're not sure. There's some of the neighbors that do fresh produce, so probably not much if we do, and I'm not quite sure what the requirements are.
Any conditions?
motion to move on to finding fact for 2342.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I ask if it's transferable if you approve it? Is that a condition?
What's the standard if we don't meet that definition, and it's just
Assuming if you
automatically
don't make
not
it, it's automatically transferable.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
so that if we don't
If
meet that
there's no
condition.
condition of non-transferable, it is transferable. Good. Okay, use variance findings of fact for Tri-County Land Trust in care of Noah and Marietta Fry, variance number 2322. Physical location number 0277 West 1200 North, -57 Wolfville. The Noah County Board of Zoning Appeals, having heard the application for the variance described and all the testimonies from parties claiming to be adversely affected by the proposed variance, is now under the following findings as required by the Unified Development Ordinance in Indiana Code. The approval of the variance will not be interest to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Patty Gavin.
Agree.
Tom Burns.
Agree.
Sam Buckles.
I agree.
Jesse Herman. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Tom Burns.
I agree.
Sam Buckles.
I agree.
Michael Falkenstein is not here. Patty Gavin. Chelsea Kermy. The need for the use variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved. Sam Buckles.
I agree.
Tom Griffiths.
Disagree. It's A1, not very far from grocery store that's already in there.
Patty Gavin.
I disagree.
Oh, you're saying they have one group within the vicinity.
Chelsea Kermy.
I agree.
The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property for which the variance is being sought. Patty Gavin.
Disagree. There's already been something else said.
Tom Griffiths.
I disagree. It's still A1, there's other things to move forward.
Sam Buckles.
I agree.
Chelsea Kermy. delivery. The approval does not interfere substantially with the Middle County Comprehensive Plan. Tom Griffiths,
I agree.
Patty Gavin,
I agree.
Sam Buckles,
Agree.
Mike Klopfenstein is not here, Chelsea Kearney. I agree. Based on findings number 3 and number 4, the board does not. You want to call me tomorrow? We'll talk.
And
Those
you
are,
need it? You
Nope.
don't need it? Alrighty. So I understand it is not approved. Okay, well, thank you.
Just stick them in the file. Okay.
you want to move on to the next one? We can check on. We'll move ahead to the these Carter stepped out.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do the special
Yeah,
exception.
Sarah will check on Carter.
So we're gonna go ahead and skip ahead and we're gonna do the special exception number 572.
Oh, they're coming in, she said.
Oh, just a minute. I'm gonna go ahead and read variance number 2343, Seth E. Carter requests a development standards variance to allow for Last Studio required minimum front yard setback of 85 foot from the center line of the road to be at 40 foot from the center line of the road due to topography for the construction of a new home. Real estate is located on section 34 of Green Township, quadrant 200, parcel 008, common location known as 3630 East, 550 South, Cherubusco, Indiana. All right, you guys want to say your names?
Patrick Carter, 408 South Washington Street, Cherubusco, Indiana. Seth Carter, 3630 East, 550 South, Cherubusco.
You just want to go ahead and tell us a little bit about what you want to do and address those findings of fact as you're doing it.
So they own 7.5 acres there currently. And okay, so see there's a new house in the right-hand corner with the curved driveway going to it. He had that house built 4.5 years ago. There's a old house right at the, you can see the roof of it on the left of the driveway. It's a 120-some-year-old house in bad shape, basement walls caving in. So he built a new house, never occupied it. Well, this place was foreclosed, never occupied that house. 4 years ago, he fell in a boat and injured his neck. And we spent 4 years trying to figure out what's wrong with him. He had neck surgery January 31st this year, finally, for longer. Cleveland Clinic 4 times, IU, Michigan State, nobody figured out what's wrong with him. Then he found out now he has spinal cord damage, so he kept laying flat on the MRI table and doing MRIs. And showed everything lined up perfect. He never showed damage. It was already wasn't his neck. But he finally had a doctor saying the Mishawaka to flex extension MRI and showed a pinch in the spinal cord 50%. Moving that forward and back in 2 different places. He's got congenital defects from birth, 2 vertebrae fused in his neck. His mom has in her back. So that limited the function of his neck, which that's why the injury. So it took so long for him to fix it. He's got permanent damage to his spinal cord now. He's not qualified for disability because they say he can find something to do in a wheelchair, which hasn't happened yet. For the last 4 years, he's struggled. He can't walk very much, hardly all. He needs 2 crutches and get like from here to that wall and back. He's by himself. It's not very good kids. But he can't walk and carry anything. He can't take care of things. He has horses and 2 dogs there. So his mother and I go out there every day. She's by there now taking care of him. We go there many times a day at times, help him take care of things. What he can do, groceries, taking to do it. So we've been trying to figure out things. We live in Cherubusco, football house.
In the wintertime, he can't get around on ice and snow hardly at all. So he falls down all the time trying to get in and out of the car and doing things. It's just been tough. So we made a decision that since he has his dogs and his horses, praying and hoping that they say there could be a miracle that up to 2.5 years, he could heal and maybe overcome this, but it doesn't appear it's getting worse actually. So me and his mom have offered that we tore down the old house. It's no longer there. And Mike Draper tear it down. It's gone. Yeah, you can see there, that's where the old house was. So it's been tore down, stripped out. So our intentions are, we have a house in Musco, it's only 5 years old, but we love it. We're gonna sell our house. We're gonna move out there and build a house on that site and put a sidewalk between the two houses that are going to be somewhat independent, have his own house still, which his house is not big enough for all of us. We have grandkids and daughter, some will come from Ohio and stay, and we have to have rooms for them, so when they come and stay. So what we'd like to do is build a new house on that site where the old house was. You can see in the far right of the picture, there's a well pit and the well right there. We still use that well for barns.
That's the blue shed.
That little blue shed on the right there. Yep. And that's functional, has power to it. That's providing water to the animals. So we didn't want to tear that out if we don't have to. It's a good working well. And Jason has this approved for the septic. It's going to be over towards that white fence to the left. It's already been approved and laid out. I'll be honest with you, we weren't aware of the setback requirements when we started this process. We came in the property pretty soon to found out, which was kind of shocking. The old house was full, about 38 feet from the road. In order to get a footprint of the house that we need to build between that shed and the road, is widening these roadways. Put a house there. The main goal is to build a house that's close enough in that location without tearing down barn, keep on level, a sidewalk between the two places. So he can go back and forth. He's got an electric scooter truck too. But it's all about keeping the ground level. Thinking about like winter time, keeping the sewer from back. So that's all we're asking. It's just replacing, we were going to rebuild his little house. It was just one shape. So we're basically just replacing for a 2-story house.
I do want to point out that they're asking for the development variance to be closer to the road. They have a year, once they obtain a building permit, to have one of the 2 houses removed or get a subdivision. So they're going to have to subdivide that property to get themselves. And they're aware of that.
And we have that all in place with Walker and Associates in Plain City. I already paid them actually. It's all just, they're waiting on a phone call now.
I think part of your sketch is what you added in there. There is an image on the back with a red line that shows approximately where that new split will be.
We also spent a lot of time with people at the highway department. And last call, the lady there called me, I can't remember her name, it's very nice. She has that all worked out. We're putting a second driveway in for his existing house in front of his existing house. And then if we build this new house and get a variance, we're going to use the existing driveway for that property. Which will be included in the subdivision. What is it? Charisse, yeah, Charisse.
I got a couple of questions. So the house I'm looking at, that's going to be subdivided off.
Yes.
Why don't you guys just move that? Just 2 questions.
That's where he lives. That's his house.
You can build one.
Bill, man, that's
My wife and I are building us a new house. Which parents?
Yeah, I own 7.5 acres, and if it's worked out, I can sell them too.
Okay, next question. If they tore down a house, why do they need a variance? Can you build one? Did it have to burn or something?
50% destruction of a structure has to come into compliance.
So if a tornado would have did it, there would be a variance.
Probably would.
Sure.
No, you guys still would
It would have been cheaper than that excavator.
Yeah.
And then when we got looking into the basement, it's stone, it's 100, how old is it?
part of that, so it's 60 feet, but I don't know.
There's a drug.
Yeah, and he did send me, he's out sick, he called and just, the site was marked. But upon my review, they have the ability to move another 20 feet south. 85 setback would push them closer to the outbuildings. It would be a difficult a practical difficulty, but 65 feet might be more reasonable. And then he apologizes for not being.
So
How do you do that?
Which,
just what the, and then you just do an accessory dwelling, except with the accessory.
The sizes are too big,
it'd be
So-
smaller than-
you know.
His house only 1,100 some square feet. We were gonna go ranch style house. That's what we have now. I mean, I'm 59 years old, I had a stroke, I worry about me being in a stupid wheelchair. I don't know, so I didn't want a two-story. Problem is, the ranch style home we're in now, it's 4 years old, we love, it's 74 feet wide. So we take your, even 60 feet, because I originally we talked about the 60 feet thing. I can't, by the time I do it, my excavator said I'm gonna have a feet of fill at the end of the house. And it's not good, it's not smart to do that. That's all sand there, it's all sand and gravel. And
You're not lessening that height of the hill of the road.
I mean, it's gonna be about the level of, which is, picture don't show where, is there any other pictures show where the, no, go back to the other. See the flat pad behind the front stump here, the other stump. That's kind of the flat area there, and that's about what level it's gonna be.
So you'll take that down a little
A
bit.
little bit, just up there where those two stumps are.
Mhm.
Gonna mount it, it's gonna be about the same level, it's gotta be higher than where that shed is.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So the RMC came and took the big pine tree down. Where I'm talking about is the ground grade falling is, Teresa, if you're looking at the stump and take your hand and point to the left towards the ditch, that's where it all falls off real drastically. And in order to get a ranch style home, so where we're at now, I got a quote just came in today for a 2-story house that I can squeeze in if we get the 40-foot requirement. Because like I say, I got 4 grandkids and a son and daughter-in-law come and stay with us. I gotta have a 4-bedroom house. So it's gotta be. And that's why we're gonna opt for a 2-story with a master bedroom on the main floor. That's what we're looking at. And the septic, there's another issue too with going that direction. I can't go towards the ditch because the 75 setback from the ditch, off the ditch. And then I have to have a place to put the septic system, which Jason came out and he looked all over trying to determine, and he picked the best, what he recommended, which is actually, see that telephone pole? It's about where that telephone pole is. It's where it's staying. And the soil test all been done, it's already been to do that. So we're gonna make sure all the stuff will all fit before we go to this extent.
I got one, Daryl Novak, with no comment with mom.
We talked to people around there. And there is existing houses beside you. I don't know what the name is.
On the other side of the ditch.
No, that one's probably over 85 feet from the house. To the right of your house, it's close to the road. There's not really, he's got enough property, 7 acres, don't really affect anybody.
Yeah, the only neighbor I really talked to is going across the road. He gave me his blessing and said, do whatever you need to do.
If asked if there's anybody here to speak for or against this variance. If not, I think I don't have anything to add. Would accept the motion and move on to the variance attached.
Motion to move the finding facts for variance 2, 3, 4, 3.
I'm gonna request a hold harmless cause to be added to that motion. Are you approving that?
Oh, yeah, sure. Please add the local harmless clause to that.
I have a motion to the findings of fact for the harmless cause as a condition. Do I have a second for that?
Second.
And a second from Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Development standards, findings of fact for Seth E. Carter, Patrick and Amy Carter, physical location was 3630 East 550 South in Churubusco. The Noble County Board of Zoning Appeals, having heard the application for variance and all of the testimonies from parties claiming to be adversely affected by the proposed variance, is now in the following findings as required by the Unified Development Ordinance and Indiana Code. The approval of the variance will not be injurious to the public health, safety, and morals, and the general welfare of the community. Patty Young.
Agree.
Tom Griffiths.
I agree.
Sam Buckles.
Agree.
Chelsea Carney.
I also agree.
The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. Tom Griffiths.
I agree.
Patty Gavin.
I agree.
Sam Buckles.
I agree.
Chelsea Carney. I agree. The strict application of the terms of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Sam Buckles.
I agree.
Tom Griffiths.
I agree.
Patty Gavin.
I agree.
Chelsea Carney.
I also agree.
Based on the findings, the board does approve.
All set.
You know?
Is that it?
You know? Put it to him.
All right.
Yep, you just move forward on that.
Yeah,
um,
that's cool.
On that subdivision.
And that's how we can do that and put that space down before we all. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much.
All right, moving on, special exception number 572, Mark Kennedy and Jacqueline S. Young request a special exception to allow for an accessory dwelling in an A1 zoning district. The real estate is located in section 33 of Green Township, Quadrant 300, parcel 014, common location known as 2218 East, 550 South, Cherubusco, Indiana.
I'm Mark Young, my wife Jackie. 2218 East, 550 South, Cherubusco.
Like Jackie, I'm 2218 East, 550 South, Cherubusco.
You want to tell them what you're doing?
We had a 24 by 24 barn, I guess south of our house there, that we tore down, and we want to put in a 40 by 40 barn with a full bathroom.
Optional for living space if they ever want it.
Yeah, and optional living space would be if the kids needed to come home or something for a short extent. I don't plan on making a bedroom or anything in it. I don't want them to stick around. If that would happen.
There's no desire to ever rent it out to the general public or anything like that. There's living right there by my house.
Does meet the accessory structure standards between the 550, 1200 square feet. It can be attached or detached, utilizing the same driveway, and they can use the same exhibit utilities where practical, and I don't remember what you were planning on doing in that plan.
Everything will be tied to that one.
So it's gonna be on the same floor. It's gonna be close to your house. Right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see how close it is in that image.
Okay, right.
It is an easement that you come up and there are shared, there's one other family that uses that easement,
And one other.
one other. So from the road, site distance.
Yeah, we sit on top of the hill and wooded around there.
Share. Pretty much looks just like a picture of trees ahead of. It is very close to their home.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty nice cleared up area, yeah. So I did- just like that, yeah.
We have one. From Heather Hurley and Larry Hurley that did not comment. And then Richard Rogers from the Tech Review had no issues with the additional use on the entrance on and off the road. And Jason at the time was in discussion with you on the septic. In the health department, so. Any other questions?
Isn't it gonna be 1,600 square feet?
No, it'd be probably closer to, I think it was just over 550 square feet. Well, the structure's that size, but the living area inside of that structure will
Got
be. Yes.
Nobody has questions?
I guess I get one that I must have missed. Wait, don't, just make sure kids come home and you don't bother you.
I'm pretty plain. And
Okay.
if I'm out in the barn working, I can go bathroom.
Okay, all right.
Or maybe I'm just gonna shut it out there.
Yeah, needs a place to go.
Nice dog house.
The doghouse, that's what I was gonna say.
My husband is.
Nobody has questions? Entertain a motion?
I'll make a motion to, the finding of fact for special section.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
So applicant Mark E. and Jacqueline S. Young, physical location known as 2218 East 550 South of Cherubusco. Noble County Board of Zoning Appeals, having heard the application for the special exception described, and all testimonies of parties claiming to be adversely affected by the proposed special exception does now under the following findings as required by the Unified Development Ordinance and Indiana Code. Number one, the proposed special exception is consistent with the purpose of the zoning district and the Noble County Comprehensive Plan. Sam Buckles,
Agreed.
Tom Griffiths,
Agreed.
Patty Gatlin, Chelsea Kermy. Agreed. The proposed special exception will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. Tom Griffiths,
Agreed.
Sam Buckles,
Agreed.
Patty Gatlin, Chelsea Kermy. The proposed special exception is in harmony with all adjacent land uses. Patty Gatlin, Tom Griffiths,
Agreed.
Sam Buckles,
Agreed.
Chelsea Kermy. The proposed special exception will not alter the character of the district. Tom Griffiths,
Agreed.
Patty Gatlin, Sam Buckles,
Agreed.
Chelsea Kermy. The proposed special exception will not substantially impact property values in an adverse manner. Patty Gatlin, Tom Griffiths,
Agreed.
Sam Buckles,
Agreed.
Chelsea Kermy, and also agree. Based on findings of fact, the board does approve.
Second. Can I have it?
I will make a point that there are no other demonstrants here for that. Oh, thank you, people that were here left, so I can send people. No, I just want to make sure.
Right.
We can go back while Sarah's printing those, if you want to look at your.
Let's take a minute to review the August 7th minutes. What question do I was not here, so do I go on?
And my father's name would sign it, but he's out sick today, so we're just gonna put a member down there. One of the three of you can sign. And make motions.
Thanks.
Do you want mine, Tom? Like, they're not very hard.
I'm
Is that it? Front and
Yeah,
back?
but I missed you.
Front and back.
All right. Oh.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as written, the minutes of August meeting.
I'll second that.
A motion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. We can now move on to, unfinished business, the memorandum of findings of fact for various 2339, Fayette and Spassky. Again, I'm voting on those things as I hear correct. Correct, okay. So, everyone's had a chance to review those, to accept the motion.
Motion to accept findings of fact for variance 2339.
And remember, findings of fact, approved.
Your new employee will be your code enforcement, so we've not done a whole lot of that. She's not starting for a couple weeks, so we'll get you Rachel Rogers. So we'll have a lot of training, but I think she'll have some longevity there. I think so I think it'll be fine. What we do know is Sarah and I were out in the field the other day. The Bodie property, which is the second one on the list, is substantially cleaned up. Basically, the barn's gone, the foundation's still there, and there's nothing but corn. It's now at. So remember that one had a renter that wasn't Bodie. Frank Beaton, I think, was the guy's name. And it just became a lot. So that's the cleanest I've ever seen a property change. No, you're right. I mean, it's kind of fun to go back there and see nothing but corn.
Willis missed it.
We are getting a lot of complaints again on this property at Knapp Lake. We do have an open violation for it. The Mars property, I don't believe the Mars are living there. I think it's family that's living there. They're bringing in wood, cutting wood in a lake residential zoning. Is there floodplain here? Yes. I believe it's in the floodplain. And the neighbors are now complaining that they're burning the debris that's coming from that. And so they're having ash everywhere. So some of this, I've asked for them to contact their township trustee. She can help a little bit. Cindy Kennedy's awesome. We've worked with her before. I've also sent him to IDEM for the burning, but if it's wood, I don't know what they can do, but since it's dry and it's on a lake, I don't know if they have different regulations or not. We're struggling getting much communication with the property owner there, and I'm not sure. We'll probably have to go out again, take some more close-up pictures and set another fine. So that's all I have for you for right now. We've been swamped the last 2 weeks, been insane. Phones haven't stopped. Ask Sarah. She's about to pull her hair out last week.
You can see her and it's like, she was on the phone and
Chaos.
It was crazy.
everywhere.
Yeah. So there you go.
And just to clarify, I drive around a lot. I don't know why sometimes, but I see a lot of people living in campers and stuff. It's really not none of my business, but when they're part of my site visit, when I was.
And unfortunately, unless I have a complaint, so I will say the last one that was here, the building department, were part of pushing them to also get the special exception because the way that the structure was laid out interior to them, they felt it was too much residential. So, and they were very compliant to move in that direction. So it just offers them a little more flexibility. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Few minutes, 9:10 o'clock.
Yeah.